Yep.
For anybody who hadn't figured it out, this is world famous Ybor City. We're gonna make a couple of stops and I'll tell you a little bit about it. Some of you know the story of this, but I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, the rest of you. And I have no connection whatsoever to the Cuban people. I have just learned about this man and this story because my friends Andrew and Bill, we were riding down here and they said, you know what? There's Cuba owns some land down there. And I said, what? And they're like, yeah. So I started digging into it. This plot of land right here is the only free soil that is owned by Cuba in the world. Freedom is inside these gates. They just have it locked. Usually you can come down here and walk in. The statue is of a man named Jose Marti. And you know, I recognize this guy. This guy walking right here. Aren't you the tour dude?
Yes, I am.
Would you mind telling us a quick story of Jose Marti?
I would be glad to.
I mean, this guy is the best. And you just a second. What is your name?
You're on video.
What is it?
Max Herman.
I'm Max. I've seen you on YouTube.
Oh, thanks.
Max does, it's a commercial business, right?
Yeah, it's Ybor walking tours, which a little hot today for walking. You guys picked the right tour, honestly. but
we got a short amount. If you could,
sure,
it would be such a privilege. Thank you.
Absolutely, and thank you very much for introducing me. That's nice of you. Basically, Jose Marti, he's kind of like the Martin Luther King Jr. of Cuba. He's regarded as the liberator of Cuba, even after Castro's revolution, because he got them their freedom from Spain when they were a Spanish colony. And before he was a freedom fighter, he was actually famous for a lot of great writings and speeches. In fact, he wrote a very famous poem that later got converted into a song called Guantanamera. So if anybody here has ever heard the song Guantanamera, you know, anyway, that's Jose Marti's work that has traveled all around the world into even your living rooms. But Jose Marti, like I said, and he was telling you, this is owned by Cuba because this is La Casa de Pedroso, which is the house of the Pedroso family. They pretty much saved Jose Marti's life when he came to Ybor City after being exiled from Cuba. Now, when he left Cuba, he left because obviously he was very rebellious and the Spanish government kicked him off the island, much like Mr. Ybor, the founder of the town. And basically, at the end of the day, he was kind of a starving artist in Ybor City. Not only that, he was almost killed by some people that were, you know, against his cause. Two Spanish men had snuck into his room and poisoned his wine one night when he was giving a speech, and he realized he was too exposed in Ybor City. So he decided, from now on, I'll take every dollar I have, I'll send it back to Cuba for weapons and supplies for a revolution, and I'll sleep on the streets. Well, Paulina Pedroso, the woman, the matriarch of the family of the Pedrosos, she wouldn't have it. He was a hero to her, and she said, we're taking him off the streets, we're gonna keep him safe, and he can continue his revolution from our living room, which actually was where this gated area is now. So anyway, in the 1950s, after the successful revolution, Batista, the former dictator of Cuba, he dedicated $30,000 of his own money to have the house that was here refurbished and turned into a big museum as a thank you to the Pedroso family. But when they went through the house, they saw that it was covered in termites and that a fire happened. They realized it wasn't safe. So they knocked it down and they built this park you see before you instead. While they were building the park, the Pedroso family themselves signed the deed of the land over to the nation of Cuba. And that is why today it is Cuban-owned land.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
you're
you.
welcome.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
Thank
let me give
you.
one of these.
Okay,
Yeah.
and I will, just to let you know, we're the e-bike enthusiasts
I love
of
that.
Florida. And we have a group, this is 23 people. Our group has 2,900 people,
Wow.
Florida-wise, that are going to see this car,
Please.
hear about you and your business, and we're going to invite them to be privileged like you just shared with us.
That would be great. Group discounts, by the way.
Thank you.
Well, thank
How
you.
special.
That's very nice of you.
Thank you,
guys.
thank you.
Thanks, enjoy your tour. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Have fun.
Just to tell you what he didn't, and it's like, I can't believe the time on that.
Yeah.
It's just incredible, and his tours are He knows everything about every street. But anyways, Jose Marti, he actually died in a battle. He went back to Cuba, 1895, and in the battle, this is when the Spanish were in control of Cuba, and the Cubans were enslaved on their own land. And the last thing I'm going to share with you, which really touches me, and I usually cry when I talk about it, but it's really important to me because I'm a big fan of the simple concept of freedom, and big fan. Right where you're standing right now, as he told you, the home was here, where Jose Marti stayed when he was in Tampa. When he was here, he was a writer. They call him the Apostle of Independence. His words were what fueled the revolution, which fueled the freedom in Cuba. But he was a writer, and he would write. It was a 2-story house. We're gonna wait for you to go by. He would write in the 2nd floor at night, and he'd write these declarations of freedom and independence and love. And hundreds of people would gather every night he was in town, because they knew if they saw the light, and it was so quiet, they could hear the quill, the inkwell. They knew he was writing for them and for their families. And the story is, they gathered right where we're standing right now. And that to me is sacred. So I wanted to share that with you. Okay?
Thank you.
All right. And all his information is going to be on the website.